Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be showing a very interesting game that I played with the former world champion Vishwanathan Anand sir. In this game, this is the first time I am playing against a grandmaster, and thankfully that I was playing with my idol Vishwanathan sir himself, and it was a very good opportunity. We were like about 10 people playing in a simul exhibition with him, and I was one of the participants. In fact, I was the top seed in that simul. So in this game, I was playing black, and Vishy sir was playing white. In fact, all the games he was playing white. One thing that I need to mention here is that Vishy sir has got about 40 minutes, and each participant gets only about 5 minutes with no increment. So that was a little, too short of a time to play a world champion. Uh, but nevertheless, it was a great experience, and I'm going to bring you in how this game went. So Vishy sir played c4, and I started off with knight f6. Then he played knight c3, and here I tried e6, then e4. This is very strange to me because I never knew what sort of opening this is, and in fact, one of my biggest weaknesses is the opening phase. And I was not particularly sure, like this is more like a Morocci bind structure, the pawn on c4 and e4 stopping me from pushing my pawn up two steps forward. I wasn't sure if there is any sort of trick, but considering it is only a 5 minutes game, and had I make some sort of moves like this, I don't want to end up losing some sort of pawns initially. So I was a little bit confused of what to play. Then I went on to play e6 to be on the safer side. Although I know it is very passive, both my bishops are getting locked inside. I personally did not like this position, even though I had to make a decision. I still went ahead and then played this structure anyway. Now, let's see what Vishisa played here. He played d4, taking down the entire center for himself. And it's very tough. Now, how do I go about this? Like, should I push e5? Should I push c5? I was having a lot of questions. If I push e5, maybe pawn takes, then like say e5, pawn takes, maybe queen takes, queen, king takes. I was not sure if it is a good idea to do that. So I went on to play bishop e7, simply developed. Knight came to f3, and I simply castled. So Vishy sir went bishop d3, and I played knight f6. I think at this point I had couple of options. I could have also chosen knight b d7. This is one option that I have. I was not entirely sure if I should, play something like b6, but I knew that it's not that great a move, considering that at some point this rook will come and put tremendous pressure, and not knowing an opening and then messing up a pawn structure, I don't want to do that. So I waited and then went on with this knight c6. Here Rishi sir castled. Till this point, the Indian evaluation is that both the sides are fairly equal. White have about roughly 0.50 advantage, and so on. And here Rishi sir pushed, sorry, he castled, and then I pushed e5. So, and now I was hoping that if he takes, probably I take, then all my problems are solved. But then I also know that there is a possibility of him pushing d5, which happened, and I should have ideally gone to b4 and then came back to c6 just in case um, I need any extra square to run with my knight, like say a3, then I should have a back square. This is perfectly fine, and this is what engine also recommends. Um, but then in the game, what happened? I went on playing knight b8. Now with this move, Vishy sir actually came up with a very unexpected move. He played rook b1. Uh, this is more clear that his intentions are like to push b4 and then start advancing and then cramp me on my queen side. That's his plan. He also wanted to maybe at some point he might play a4 as well and then start pushing it aggressively. I was hoping all sort of things to explode and um, then I developed my bishop to g4, pinning his knight. And Vishy Anand sir went on with his own plan, b4, pushing the pawn 2 steps forward. Now, what should I play? What should be the black's game plan here? Is one side is expanding the space, like you can see, white has enormous amount of space. It's just controlling the center. The knight is ready to jump in anywhere, and then entire space is like taking with the pawns. And how do I deal with it? Uh, Maybe if it was a little longer time frame, I would have considered even pushing, a5 and maybe c6. There are many ways to deal with it, but this position by itself demands a lot of time to think. And I wasn't entirely sure of what would be the right move. And then I thought, let me play c6. At least it looks reasonable. But then white is already slightly better here. So Vishy sir went on with h3, kicking my bishop, and I chose to go back. And Vishy sir developed his bishop to e3. Now I have to think what I need to do. Uh, if I take, and then he takes back, then my knight cannot come to c6. And how do I develop this rook? How do I address all this space advantage? That was something I need to worry about. Now, one of the moves that I did was to bring in my knight here, which is solid move, which is what engine also recommends. And this is what I played. And here, Vishy sir went bishop e2. Now, I thought it's better to put some pressure on this pawn as it is only guarded by the knight. Also, if I come here and then attack it, it will be double attack on the pawn, as well as my bishop will also be looking at this rook. I thought that's a good move, so I went ahead and played bishop g6. Now, Vishisha played one of the best moves here, like knight d2. What is the logic behind this move? I give you about 10 seconds. Feel free to pause the video. What is the idea behind knight going to d2? All right, I'm going to show the idea behind this move. He is planning to push f4, expand that space, also activate the rook along the f file. So I can see a lot of attack coming in. And trust me, if f4 happens, I need to react, because if I don't do, then f5 comes and then my bishop gets trapped. I cannot go back to h5. Maybe I need to awkwardly push this pawn up and then find some space on h7, things like that. So this is a very critical moment. And I thought before he pushes it, I should do something about this. And here I played knight e8, which is not a great move, but it's fine. It's fine. It just holds. What I intend to do is I am also withdrawing my knight, intending to push f5. And funny part is that here engine recommends a very standard idea like c takes d5 and c takes d5. And interestingly, I could have equalized the position at this junction by playing knight takes here. A very interesting, surprising move. You can either take it with this knight or this knight, doesn't matter. Then you play f5. What happens when you play f5? Say that he runs back with his knight somewhere. Then you just push this and then it gets trapped. Let's assume that he takes this knight with this c3 knight. Then again you play f5. Now black is getting back his piece. Even if he tries to go back or he plays bishop here, it's all fine, because let's say he goes back, then I play f4, trapping the bishop. Of course, I didn't see this in the game. Just after the match, I was just going through the moves. With the help of engine, I found this move, and I think this is how I could have approached it. It was a good learning experience for me. I didn't know how to find equality in such a cramped position, but then this was a good learning experience. Okay, let's get back to this position where I played knight e8, planning to play f5. So here, Vishy Anand sir played d takes c6, capturing the pawn. So I had to capture back, and here he improved his knight to b3. Even now, the engine evaluation is that, white is slightly better, not much of an advantage. But then for black, it's very difficult to come up with a concrete plan. Look at my bishop, my queen, and these pawns are pretty much, moved up. And there is queen looking at it. There is open, semi-open file for the rook, and double knight sitting here. I mean, sorry about that. Double knight sitting on here and double bishop enjoying so much of freedom and space. It's really tough. It's really tough choice, and I made a blunder here, playing f5. Not the best of the moves. The advantage immediately shifts now. Here, engine says that Vishy sir is having about 1.5 advantage. Till here, it was absolutely fine, like 0.5 advantage. But with this move, things opened up and a lot of tactical things happened. And now begins the process of crushing. And Vishy sir is an extremely brilliant attacking player. Everybody knows that. And I had a first-hand experience of receiving the blow. So I will show you how he did it. So first he took e takes f5, and natural move. I took it with my bishop. Then he improvised his rook to c1, just because the bishop is also attacking. He also improvised it to the c file, looking down at this potential, open file for the future. Of course, if he tries to push this, takes, then it becomes an open file. So that's something at the back of his mind. Now I tried something like knight b6. So here, still, it's not very clear of my own plan. Like, what do I want to achieve? Considering time is clicking, I had to make a move. I chose a very inferior move, knight b6. In fact, here, I don't know, maybe queen c8, or probably bringing back this knight here, or probably this knight back. Something like that I would have considered. Maybe this knight, because at least it re-establishes the connection between the rooks. Principally, if you ask me, I would have gone with knight e to f6. That's something I would have personally done. But given the situation, I played knight b6. which is not helping me in any way. It's still not good. Oh, I don't know. He has such an eagle eye for tactics. He came knight a5. I was wondering, like, wow, this is under attack. Okay, fine. Let me defend it. I thought everything is fine. So then he pushed c5. Okay, now things are like getting traded off, and probably I might get some lines opening up for my bishops and more space. I was, in fact, very happy, not realizing what's about to come. Right? Then I took this pawn and he recaptured. Now I played a very seemingly, you know, normal move, knight going here. But then, pause for a moment. Can you see the best move for white? If you were white, what would you play in this position? If you want, feel free to pause the video, think through it. This is a tactical mistake, right? I hope you thought through this. Here comes a stunning move. Knight takes c6, simply eliminating the defender. So this knight is being attacked 2 times and it's protected only once. Now, even if I capture it here, he would, capture this knight. So already I'm down a pawn, and look at this pawn. It's not just loss of a pawn. This pawn has become a monster. He is going to push this at his free will, and the game is going to be over soon. So I had more problems to worry about now. Then I thought it would be better if I at least trade off and then uh, eliminate some of the pieces so that this pawn doesn't have full strength to go forward. So with that reasoning, I went rook takes c6. So Vishy sir grabbed this one, and then I also thought, let me take it. And knight took back. Now this bishop is suddenly exposed. Now what do I play? What are my moves? I can go here, but then what about this knight? It cannot go here. I don't want to disturb this bishop because it's very nicely looking at this pawn. I thought I might be able to grab it. But unfortunately, it's been under attack, and I don't want to trade off my minor pieces just in case if I have to sacrifice one of the minor pieces to stop this pawn. A bishop would be a very useful piece. So I thought, let me go back here so that at least it controls this square. When it reaches, I have at least one piece controlling that already. That was my logic. And here, I mean, you see how we started to take up every opportunity to play the precise moves and then crushing completely. Like bishop b5. Now, what are my options? I cannot go back because you see the communication between the pieces. Like everything is stuck in the last rank. I don't want to go back because already there are so many pieces around my king. Like there is a potential knight coming down here. Although there is a bishop for now guarding it, who knows whatever can happen when you play a world champion. So I was a little bit concerned, and then I thought, let me also attack back and chose rook g6. That was the logic behind rook g6, going and then setting up some sort of attacking opportunities. But it was straightforward move. Bishop c4, ready to discover, pick up my rook or bishop. So I am forced almost to play king h8. Now Vishy sir also moved away, just eliminating this threat. Now, I thought, okay, this is a good move. Let me attack here as well as keep an eye on this one. But which is just picked my bishop again. And this is the only reasonable move that I could think of. I don't want to trade it off. I wanted to just my only hope was that somehow magically I capture this pawn, then everything can be managed. That's my thought process. But then um, I know it's not going to happen with Vishy sir. At least a bishop can be sacrificed, either this bishop or this bishop. One of it I can sacrifice and then try to play my best possible chess. That's my hope. And here, Vishy sir played rook d1, simply improvising the position, taking down the open file. A very important thing. When you have already got a see, as a beginner, we are also tempted to push our pawns up and get queen immediately. But look at what Vishy sir is doing. He is not in a rush to push this pawn. What he is doing is he is improvising each of his pieces to its best possible squares first. Once the pieces have come to the best of its squares, then you are in command of steering the game to your advantage. Yeah. So that's what we are going to witness here. So now, of course, I tried something like knight f6. It was more than happy to trade. And then I felt, let me recapture this way so that I can use this file for going and attacking. Of course, now the game has come down less than a minute. You can't blame me for my poor choices. Plus, I was also under a lot of, excitement as well as stress. So, this for this, what he did was now he pushed this pawn one step forward, attacking another pawn. Now, I thought, okay, let me bring this bishop back and bishop c5, attacking my piece. Now, this rook is gone. If I go here, bishop comes here, and I lose one of the rooks. If I go here, same thing. So I am left with no choice. I cannot block it with any pawn or any piece. Just had to give up, and that's exactly what happened. So he took happily. I took back, and now comes c7. What's the logic behind this move? I was like very happy, so I took it. Now, can you find the winning idea for white? I give you about 5 seconds, or maybe you can pause the video. So, what will you play if you're white? Here, Vishy sir played bishop e7, attacking my bishop. Rook's ready to swing in, and bishop threatening to capture. I mean, this is unbelievable. Now, I just moved my bishop to b6, and he took this one here, and then I resigned. So, this is how uh, my game with Vishy Anand sir has come to an end. It was a completely amazing experience to play such a legendary player. I am so grateful, so thankful for him playing with an amateur like me. I really appreciate that fact that he was also post our exhibition session was also explaining me some of the ideas and where things had gone wrong. So that was pretty insightful and useful learning for me. I hope you guys also enjoyed as much as I do. And please feel free to write your comments and how did you like this game. If you have any thing to share, please put it down in the comment section, and I will be more than happy to do it as another video. So thanks guys for watching, and see you all in another video. Bye.